Don't say that.
Welcome to another Tuesday Sideline Sports. Looks like we got everyone in the house today. We got Jake, who's up top.
I'm
John,
back. You missed me.
John with the banner. Dave, who I think's eating some tacos. We'll get to that in a second. I'll let Jake ask because I know he likes to ask.
It's my favorite
So go
question.
ahead, Jake.
Dave, before you go to the topic, whatever it was that you wanted to discuss, I got to know what kind of tacos you got, my man.
Chicken tacos, going healthy.
All right.
Nice.
What's...
Only one tortilla tonight, man. I'm cutting the carbs out. I gotta get my summer body on. It's well, you can't see it's 80 degrees out.
Oh,
So,
lucky.
Yeah, I gotta get
just chicken, or you got lettuce, tomato, like
so chicken, a little bit of cheese, and that's it.
Okay, all right,
nice.
Okay.
Keep it
all right,
simple.
Dave.
My body's the same the whole way around, the whole year around.
Well, so a few weeks ago, we took a survey.
Okay.
What teams do you think are going to make it to the finals?
I knew this is where you were going.
Now, I said the Lakers and the Celtics, for those of you that don't remember. Much to the amusement of everybody else on the screen. Anybody else have their two teams on there?
Mine is still alive. Mine's still alive.
Both?
Well, okay, but you don't have a chance. I mean, okay.
I don't care about any other team. All I care about is the Heat.
But you did. So who did you have in the West?
I think I said the Suns or Nuggets. I forget.
Yeah, so you don't have two teams.
So you're like me.
You said the Suns. I'm asking John. Please follow along. Who has both of their teams still alive?
Well, to be fair, the Celtics have no chance, so I don't even know why.
Hang on 1 second. I just want to say, Dave, I applaud you, Dave. That was awesome.
I really thank you. That felt like something I would have said to John.
Let's make
and I
sure.
appreciated that.
Let's make sure that we throw it out there that Jake laughed at you when you said sweep. Jake laughed at you.
They didn't sweep.
Basically told you there was no chance.
Yeah,
and it was a gentleman's sweep.
But it doesn't matter. I was still right. I admit that I was wrong about other things, but Dave is 100% like he'll admit that I was right. They didn't sweep. Okay,
that was bold. I'm just saying.
But I admit I was wrong, and I'll accept that.
You know, and because you know why they're both still there? Because I didn't bet on them. You know, we asked Raphael what was the line, and I'm thinking, man, the second I put 25 cents on that game. Yeah, I don't have a chance. So
always, somehow it changes the course in the world. I don't know how it changes.
I don't know, but look, I give the Lakers a lot of credit. I was very wrong, and I'm willing to admit that. And no, they played like phenomenal defense.
Yeah, they did. They truly did.
And I knew they could play some strong defense, and I never questioned that. But in my head, I kept going, there's no way they beat the Warriors, right?
They put
I stand very corrected, and I'm willing to admit that.
They just stand 5 guys around Curry, and they're like, "Hey, let everybody else shoot. Doesn't matter as long as we stop Curry. We can win."
It's just wild.
And I'll tell you, I like them. I like it. I think they both are going to go. I think it's going to be a Lakers Celtics. I think, I think they've decided they're going to play a little bit of defense. And they've seen that actually works. I don't think Denver's really come up against anybody that can, match up with them a little bit. And
we'll see. The only thing I'm worried about is the altitude in Denver. That is I don't mean it that the Lakers won't win.
Indoors.
It's just no.
Oh no! Hey,
the altitude plays a part.
John, that does not matter. When I played at San Diego State, we played Colorado or Air Force somewhere. Colorado. After the second layup, I almost swallowed my tongue. It was brutal.
Thank you.
Brutal.
So
I just didn't want to go the Jalen Rose route.
To finish my point, that's my only concern. It doesn't mean the Lakers won't win. I think if they have a chance to win on the road, I really think tonight is their best shot.
Mm-hmm.
They're rested. They have had some time to kind of recoup from the last series. They've, not only physically, gotten that time to themselves, but they've also gotten that mental time to say, on to the next series. How do we prepare for this? They've had time. They've probably been in Denver for a couple days, so maybe they've adjusted a little bit to the altitude. Not as much as, of course, Denver is, used to, but enough to give them a chance. I think if they can win tonight, I think they can win the series because I believe they can win at home, but they gotta win tonight because
They can't stop Jokic. I don't think
we'll
they
see
can.
what the look. But my point is, if the Lakers are going to win the series, I truly believe this is the game they got to win on the road because the other games I think are going to be a lot harder because middle of the series, a lot less rest time. They're not going to have that advantage. Tonight, they've got that advantage. And I think if the Lakers want to win, they got to win tonight. That's all.
Maybe
I disagree with you.
Can
Why do you
Glass
disagree with
Joe
me?
hold up? Because he's going to have to hold up.
He's held up so far.
Not
You don't
against
have to win
Jokic.
You don't have to win game one. You just got to win one of the first 2 games. So tonight's not a must win. Tonight would be a great shot in the arm if they won. But I think there's more pressure if they win game 1 to win game 2 because this way you have a stranglehold. If you go 1-1 after winning game 1, now you kind of, in the back of your mind, you kind of give them hope.
That's fair.
That's how we beat Milwaukee.
Well, that's fair. My point is that winning game 2, I believe, will be harder for them than winning game 1, regardless of game 1's outcome. So that is why I say game 1 is so important. I don't mean it that winning 1 out of 2 is important, period. That is, I completely agree with that.
You think the probability is better tonight?
Absolutely, because of the rest and everything else. Game 2, playing in Denver is going to be hard on them. And I know that it's not going to be an easy series because Denver's good. But on top of the fact that they're good to begin with, the altitude is going to get to them. LeBron is no spring chicken, and Glass Joe is still Glass Joe. Now, he's been good. Don't get me wrong. Actually, he's been really good. He's been arguably the best player or the second best player.
He got a concussion
in the playoffs. He's been
great. He had a concussion. Don't make fun of concussions. They ripped apart Stephen A.
No, but let me ask you about the concussion. He gets elbowed in the head, and in less than 24 hours, they're like, "Yeah, he's good to go. He's going to play the next game." Like right away, like you got cranked in the side of the temple. Clearly, he wasn't right. He was wobbling around there. Less than 24 hours, they're like, "Yep, you're cleared." Like if this was the NFL, we would all be going insane.
Well, because the NFL is a contact sport.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but it's
just basketball. Come on.
I guess they don't take concussions as serious in basketball.
No, there's degrees.
They're not as common.
Yeah, why would they?
Also have severity to them, which I think Dave could probably attest to. That like the NFL, if you get hit in the head, you're gonna have a lot worse of a concussion as compared to if somebody hits you in the side of the head. It's bad, but it's certainly not as bad as somebody like pile driving you into the ground in your head.
Oh yeah, but if you've ever gotten elbowed, in the head,
I'm just.
You're lining back up, and the very next play, you get hit in the head again.
That's awesome.
Basketball, what's the likelihood you're going to get hit in the head again? There's a chance, but it's not likely. In football, assuredly, you're going to get hit in the head again and again and again and again. And
multiple times.
Especially if you're a guy like Dave who played on the line, forget it. You're going to get beat up continuously.
Yeah.
Even receivers, think about it when they get tackled. The head is moving, it's jarring.
There's nothing to that.
That's a
nice
clean helmet.
That's pretty destroyed.
That's a clean helmet.
What's that from one game?
That's 360 pounds running downfield, peeling off DBs. So I love to hit, and so not everybody was like that, but I've actually been we have a party or somebody grabs one of my helmets, and I said here's a hammer. Try and duplicate one of these scars. And I don't care how hard you hit it with a hammer, you can't do it.
Yeah.
That's the amount of impact that's going on. And that's the difference in this sport. And that's the issue at hand. The new helmets, I don't know. I haven't put one on, but
well, no, my original question though was like, how can the NBA not take it as serious when you saw the guy wobbling around, got elbowed in the head, and in less than 24 hours, because there's supposed to be a protocol, and you're not supposed to be able to clear him that fast with something like that. Even if it's NBA, like I felt like they were just like, yeah, we got to rush him back because
here's what I'll tell you.
Team.
And this kind of leads
That's
into
what
the next conversation I'd like to have.
Yeah.
The NBA has, I don't know if it's a bigger problem, but in the public eye, it's a much bigger issue because injuries are one thing, but there's stars doing very questionable things again.
Dumb things, yeah.
It's a problem. And so I think the NBA's got a little bit of a different focus right now. they should be focusing on their players that are currently playing as well. But with that said, John Morant is I'm not sure what's going on. And we can finish this conversation. I just
No, please.
I wanted to. I want to make sure JB and Dave, if they have anything else to say on this topic, we'll get to that. But I just kind of had to start the segue to that because
we've already established I'm winning. We can move on.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen. It is what it is. The NBA allowed him to be cleared today.
Yeah.
Yes, the odds of getting a concussion in the NBA are much less than football. So I'm not as opposed to it, but I would like to have seen him evaluated properly, and I don't think you could do that in one day from a concussion. No. So I do agree with John on that.
Player safety is always important. Period.
Right.
No. And speaking of, I saw a tweet the other day, and it was written as a joke, and it did give me a little bit of a chuckle, but then it was also the thought process after it that made me go, yeah, that really sucks. I don't remember who tweeted it, but somebody basically tweeted that, it was a video or a picture or whatever. And the joke was John Morant's PR team right now. And the joke was, they're scrambling to figure out what to do because you guys know my rule. I've said this on the show before, and you guys know this just because you know me. I strongly believe that once can be believed to be a mistake. I strongly believe that, but twice or more, it becomes a pattern. And this is, to me, no longer John made a mistake. He did something stupid, and he learned from it. To me, this is a pattern now, and I'm worried about it.
The old rule is first time is a mistake, second time is a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was the issue with the second time? Tell me what was wrong about it.
Oh, he flashed a gun on Instagram Live again. It's like it was
like 3 months after he got suspended for 8 games for the same
Where was
thing.
he this time?
He was in a car, I think.
Right. So is it his gun? Is it legal? So
it doesn't matter.
If it's a legal gun, he's allowed to possess it, and if he shows it, he shows it.
Choice.
It's the optics of it. It's knowing that he had an issue.
It's like being on probation and you just went and did what you're not supposed to do. Like he just got done being suspended for 8 games. It's a completely
different thing. Does the NBA say that their players can't own a gun?
They can, but I don't think they're allowed to. I think that's against policy to do what he did, to flash it on IG Live. I think
be careful when you say it's against policy, unless we know. Don't.
I would say what is probably the issue is. No, I think there is a policy in place, but I don't know for certain, so I'm not going to say that.
Who cares if there is?
But the point is
there's obviously
there's obviously an issue with him flashing a weapon on social media. It's very clear because the NBA suspended him once, they suspended him again. And the big issue that I take with it is when I see that, it looks like he's playing around with it like it's a toy.
So
and that's where I take issue.
It's conduct detrimental to the league is what the league deemed it the first time and now the second time. So it's conduct detrimental to the league. That's what it's
so the first time was at a club with alcohol, which is illegal. Because it was in, I believe, Denver.
Yeah.
The second time,
if it's a bad look for the league, that's conduct detrimental, and that's what it is. It's a bad look for the league. It's bad for the league, so you get in trouble for that. It's what conduct.
And again,
it sounds like JB's trying to defend him. I want to hear JB's case because I just don't know how anybody could defend that decision.
I think it was a dumb move. Yes. But at the same time, legally, if he owns a gun,
I don't think we're talking legally.
No, we're talking about a young man seemingly making poor decisions.
The company you work for has rules, and this is part of their rules. Is you're not allowed to do things conduct detrimental. I mean, I was a firefighter, and they always told us
that showing a gun would be detrimental to the league.
The
first time, yes, it was a law that he broke, having the gun with alcohol. So that part, I'm not going to argue that one. The second time was he told, don't go on camera anymore with a gun, whether you legally own it, don't legally own it. Unfortunately, there is the Second Amendment. People are allowed to own guns.
That's what we're arguing. We're arguing the poor decision-making of a man that's in a position, and he's scoffing at what he did, and it doesn't care. I mean, I don't care how you look at it, legally, not legally, what his rights are. He has every right to own a gun. What he did was stupid.
Yeah, and that's where I take issue because he knew he got in trouble and he knew why he got in trouble. And then he came out and basically said, well, I don't have the quote in front of me. But when he came back from his suspension, he basically said, hey, I learned from my mistake. That was it. And there's more to it. He said he learned from his mistake, and then he does this. That's where I'm concerned because, look, he's young. I'm close to his age. I could only imagine what it feels like to be my age and having all this fame, all this money, all this attention. I could never – I can't understand that. But for me, it's the situation that he has all this help. People want to help him. He's got people around him, or the league is there. I don't know who he surrounds himself with, right? He makes a mistake, and he then says, I've learned from it, and then months down the road, not too far removed from it still, does it again. To me, that's where my concern lies. That's poor decision.
He didn't do it again.
But
he made a poor decision by putting a gun on Instagram Live, but at the same time, you're saying that he did it again. No, he didn't have alcohol. He wasn't in a club when he flashed the gun like the first time. He was in a car. If he is legally allowed, if he's legally allowed to possess a gun and he shows a gun because someone's filming it, that's not really. It's not the same situation.
All right, but here's the issue to your point. Then, do you know he wasn't on drugs or having alcohol in his system? No. I'm not saying he did, but you don't know that.
The league drug test.
So what? Doesn't mean that. So what does that prove? So what does that prove? That when he got drug tested 6 months ago, he had no drugs in his system. He could he could have been snorting cocaine moments before Instagram Live. I don't know.
So what's to say that the league doesn't say next that what somebody wears is detrimental to the league?
Look, it's just like the NFL. By the way, the Spurs won the lottery. They have the right to draft. I'm not even going to say his name, Victor. Wembanyama. They have the right to draft him.
Just call him Wemby. Just call him Wemby. That's like the silly nickname people give him.
It's just like in the NFL. Like I believe the NFL is a private company, so they can do what they want with their rules, and you have to follow them. And if you don't like it, you don't play in the league.
To your point, JB, it's a valid point. What if they said you can't wear certain things? I'm not going to argue that you're wrong about that, but John,
anything can be detrimental to the league.
But I think John makes the ultimate point, which is, regardless the issue, they are employed by this organization. They have a set of rules. You got two options. You follow them, and you can be part of the league and the organization,
and you can make over $100 million.
Or you don't follow them, and too bad, you're gone. And
you're not making over $100 million anymore.
Yeah,
and you don't have shoe deals and all that.
Yeah, this was the quote. This is part of what I was looking for. John Morant said in March, I realize what I have to lose. So he accepted that, hey, I made a mistake. I understand what's at stake in these poor decisions. And then went back on it a couple months later. That's, again, that really, now that I have the
quote. He didn't go back on it. You keep saying he went back on it. It was a completely different situation.
He apologized.
But he apologized
Tomorrow, having pancakes for breakfast is detrimental to the NBA, according to Adam Silver. What do? We police breakfast?
If you don't like it, too bad.
It doesn't work that way, John.
That does work that way, because if they're a private company, they can do what they want.
But
you can't do anything about it.
He's right.
It's just the way it works. It's just like in the NFL. If you don't like it, too bad, so sad.
Because a lot more goes into sports leagues. There's certain things that they have. That
it's too bad, so sad type of thing. That's it.
No, it's far from that.
What are you going to do to stop it? I mean, you're going to go make 100 plus million somewhere else in the G League? No, G League's NBA. What are you going to go? Where are you going? Go to Japan?
It doesn't work that way, Doug.
But it does.
Rights. If he has a right to own a firearm, you're right. You can't
at the end of the day, look, he signed a contract, and the contract says you cannot do things that are detrimental to the league. And the league is deemed
that this was Was he advised?
Yes, that's why he was suspended the first time.
When you sign a contract,
he broke a law the first time, which is why.
But he was suspended for conduct that is considered detrimental to the league.
Right.
I don't think they told him, hey, don't wave a gun on Instagram Live, dingus.
The first time.
You don't think they told him that?
the
Come
first
on.
time. I can't assume what they told him. Just like we can't assume that he had drugs or didn't have drugs.
So you're proving my
we're trying
point.
to beat a dead horse here. I think we've gone round and round on this. It's
Look,
Yeah.
all I can say is
JB's saying he's got the right to do it,
and that's fine.
and we're saying it's stupid, and it is.
I agree that it's
say is
stupid.
this.
I'm in that camp, but I think he has the right to do it, and the NBA's way off base on this one.
All I can hope is that he gets the proper help, because this is just not good behavior for somebody so talented. It's just, regardless of it's legal or not, to me, it just makes me worried that he's going to have a weapon and do something stupid.
Do
down
what you
the line.
did in the car. Just don't. Just nobody record it. There you go. Nobody will ever know.
I don't need to know. Look, you can play with your guns all you want. I think it's stupid.
If you
I look
don't
at Plaxico
record it-
Burress. Plaxico Burress shot himself in the foot. Don't be stupid, okay?
None of us will
It
ever
happens.
know if it doesn't get recorded.
Exactly. That's the ultimate point. I think really is
my question is why is someone in the car dumb enough to be recording that and putting it out?
Maybe he should work on the people around him, like the circle that he keeps. You know,
that I agree with.
I mean, Dave, you were in sports, like, if you have a bad crew around you, bad crowd around you, it can get you into trouble. If you have a good crowd around you, that can be very helpful.
That's true, and it's something that is discussed in all team meetings, and when the league security comes through, and all of that.
Really,
I mean, you could still get in trouble even having a good crew, but the odds
but
are
I'm
less.
saying, the company that you keep means more influential.
It does.
Good or bad.
I mean, you guys are aware that all teams have their whole security team, right?
Yeah,
all right, and they nothing surprises them when they find out about stuff. So
I hate to say it, but I mean, when you had guys like Lawrence Taylor, I mean, this is years ago, that he was who he was. He liked to do a lot of drugs and have a good time. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can be surprised by anything anymore. If he existed in the league for many years,
but it was a different time.
No, I know, but my point is that people like that existed.
You want to talk about a different time, and going back to the Raiders back in the day, when the Raiders actually had two handlers with Matuzak that would let him, because Matuzak's thing before the game would be go to a bar, get jacked up, and then thrash it, and the team handlers would just pay for what he did because that's how he got ready for a game.
Wow.
Different era.
The difference is there were no camera, there was no social media, no IG live.
It was just people reporting it.
So it didn't really happen because nobody's recording it. So it's like, don't ask, don't tell type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that's the thing.
Social media is a blessing and a curse.
Yes,
I gotta say.
I say that about technology as a whole all the time. I love it, but I hate it all at once. But is what it is. But it's just it's one of those things I look at. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I hope he gets the right help, whatever that may be. I don't have anything else to say besides that.
Nope.
I want to leave it on a positive message.
Hey, let's talk about the only one good topic in baseball, Ohtani.
We want to talk about him. What specifically would you like to speak about him? Because
what did he do?
He's a phenomenal human being.
He got his ass kicked on the mound.
But did he hit for the cycle?
Oh no, he was a triple shot.
He missed the triple, but
no, he hit it. I thought he had a triple.
No, he was a I believe a triple shot. He didn't hit the cycle.
But either I know he missed it, but the fact that he does what he does, yes, that is.
While getting his ass kicked on the mound against us.
The fact that team has the first and second best player in baseball and just does not consistently kill every team.
They have the two best players in baseball, and don't they?
That's what he said.
First and second best.
No, I'm saying they have them, and I was going to say they also had two of the best players in baseball when it was Albert Pujols and Mike Trout. Now I know Pujols didn't play up to his expectations, but it's not only they have them now. I wanted to make the point they also had them for quite some time and also did nothing.
Yeah,
20% of their lineup is made of the top two players of the world, and yet they still don't ever win.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that team? Is it a cursed team?
I can't explain it, man.
Well, it's I'll tell you, my buddy who owns the dugout, the number one dugout, he's owned it for 17 years, and it boils down to a lot of other teams that have fantastic lineups and can't win, like the Browns. It's ownership.
Yeah,
it's ownership and the way that the players feel they're treated, just like Pujols felt like he was treated. It's just it boils down to the leadership of the team, and it's amazing how much that can affect even stars like just the dynamic of the team.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine, and the fact that MLB does not market Mike Trout enough is
They
really
don't market
disgusting.
anything enough.
No.
I mean,
You know,
or Otani, you got the top two guys. I don't get it.
My favorite example of that, JB, is I was just talking about it today. The cover of MLB The Show, one of the bigger video games in the sports industry, right? It's very popular. Last year they put Otani in the cover, which I think was a great
game I'm
move.
currently playing right now.
And that was
really
great. Good. But then this year, and it's nothing against the player who's on the cover, who I'll talk about in a moment. It's not that he's not good, but I got to be honest. I would have sooner put Judge, who is the MVP.
Who is on the cover?
I'll tell you in a minute. I would have put Trout, who is, he speaks for himself. I would have considered Otani again, honestly, just because he's such a unicorn. But they put Jazz Chisholm Jr., who
that's
not that he's a bad player. Oh, JB, you have it too.
Has it. See? I didn't even know you had I didn't even know you know what PlayStation is.
He's retired.
I would have
He's
never
retired.
I thought you would own like a ColecoVision or an Atari or something.
I go back to PlayStation, the original, John.
Easy.
Oh boy. But that's the point I wanted to make, is Jazz a bad player? Of course not. He's fun, he's flashy, he's exciting. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think that's
but he's not the right guy on the cover. No offense to him.
No.
It made no sense. You want a guy hit 62 home runs? I'm not just saying that I'm a Yankees fan. I'm saying it because you want to market your stars. That was one of the biggest stars in any sport in that given year. Why wouldn't you market him?
I mean, also think about, like, when's the last time the MLB had a record chase like that? It's been probably since Barry Bonds, since we've seen any type of home run chase.
I was going to say
MLB,
either Bonds or Sosa versus McGuire, maybe.
That was early 2000s.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while.
It's been over 20 years since we've had a chase, and they don't put the guy that brought out the first chase in over 20 years on the cover of the game. And kids absolutely love. I mean, Aaron Judge was 5 feet from me when I covered the Orioles game, and the guy is just larger than life, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Kids absolutely adore him. He's a really great guy, really nice guy.
A very
Why
humble
would you
person.
not put him on the front of your game?
Yeah, I mean,
probably cost a lot of money.
Yeah, but
it was probably a lot cheaper to get
game
because that's not MLB that does it. That's the private game company that has to pay to get the guy to go on the cover. So I can't blame MLB.
MLB has a hand in that, though. MLB and LBPA have a hand in that game.
They still got to pay whoever's on the cover. So
yes, but certain basically the way it works is players sign off their name, image, and likeness to be put in the game. So like Barry Bonds is not in the game because
he's
he is
never
not
been in the game.
Right, but because he won't agree to be in it. But Judge is in the game. They probably wouldn't have had to do much other than like,
got to pay him to be on the cover. To be on the cover is
I mean, the show has been out for over 15 years, so I think they can handle paying.
And I think ultimately their sales would have been better with Judge on the cover, just because.
Yeah,
because young kids would go, Aaron Judge, I want that because I want him. Like that's how really. I'm not talking about like.
I'm a gamer. I can attest to that when being a young kid, seeing the guy that you want on the front and buying it just because of that. Yeah.
Wow.
10, 11, 12, 13 years old.
They
get all excited over a player
I want the game because it's the game. I don't want the game.
But as a young kid, like having been a gamer my whole life, like when you're a gamer,
trust me.
Sometimes you buy these games because of what's on the front. If it's not the right cover, you won't buy it. Doesn't matter if it's Madden or not. If it's the wrong cover, you might not buy it.
I'll give the perfect example. I'll give the perfect example.
Skip Madden.
That's how some of us gamers
are. Kayla's brother is 12. Okay, you get it. He's a kid. Okay, he's got a Tua jersey. Why he likes Tua? Does it mean he plays Madden and he'll play as we're Giants fans around here. Okay. He'll play as the Dolphins, and sometimes he will root for the Dolphins because he likes Tua, and that's it. Kids have no rhyme or reason, okay? They like what they like. So I think people that are on the younger side in that, middle school, maybe very early high school, really I think that middle school age, they'll just buy a game or buy a jersey or buy a whatever Because they like the guy that's on the front or on the back. They're like, oh, I like him, so I want
The
that.
one with Tom
There's no
Brady
rhyme or
from a
reason.
couple years ago. I didn't buy
Well-
the one with Tom Brady on it from a couple years ago because
And
Tom
what
Brady
other-
was on it.
You're
in
just-
Patriots
what other
years
base-
ago.
John, you're just petty.
What other baseball game are they going to
That's the
play
way
if
it
they're not playing
works.
the show?
They just won't play it. They'll just play the old one.
Wow.
So I don't know if I shared this before on the show, but back in my acting days, I did the very first commercial for Madden 1.
Really?
That's cool.
No way.
And I think it was a computer game. I don't know. I don't know if it was on some. They gave us a copy of it. I don't know what I did with it. I mean, I tried to figure it out. I don't know. Yeah, it was up at the College of the Canyons. They had us out there, and just like any other football scene that we did, they had no idea what they were doing, and they were trying to get us to to do football stuff. Did it with he played Swede. He played for the Chiefs and his name will come to me. Anyhow, so that was fun.
Yeah. No,
I don't know who was on the cover of it.
I think Madden was on the cover of the first
you
couple.
probably
Madden.
you're right. He was, because that was Madden 1. I mean, it wasn't 1. It was just Madden.
It was Madden, yeah.
Yeah, they probably didn't know they were going to do a second one.
They didn't know that. It was just, let's just make this game.
They actually didn't.
Yeah.
And then,
but
it's like he was like busting through the screen. Like
yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And to
they
go
still
back
had
to
other football games like at that time. They had 2K and all other types of games at that time.
Yeah, but and to really quickly go back to the whole cover athlete thing, I don't know why I didn't use myself as the example. I have MLB The Show as well. And JB, there were two options I could have bought that game with. I could have bought the regular copy, which is what you have, or the Captain Edition. There was a cover with Derek Jeter. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I didn't buy the Captain Edition because I was like, oh, Derek Jeter, that's cool. I want that one.
It.
Like,
wow. They saw you coming.
But there are
they saw you a mile away.
There are so many people out there that would do the same thing and say, oh, there's a cover with somebody I like better. Yep. I will spend a little extra money on this game because I want that. That will make me happy.
If there was an alternate cover of Madden and Tua was on it, I would buy it just because of that.
John, if it was an extra $30-$40, would you still buy it?
I would do it. Yep.
Exactly.
Right, but would you have bought the regular game if the Captain Edition wasn't available?
Of course.
I would buy it depends on who's on the front.
If there was no other option.
So you see, it's irrelevant.
If Josh Allen is on the front, it's not getting in my house.
You would have still bought the game.
No, not if Josh Allen's on the front.
But it's not irrelevant only because you're saying there's only one option. There's not. That's not a reality we live in. The reality we live in is
we're talking about the cover photo, which was Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah,
that's the regular cover. We're not talking about special editions.
I know that.
Regular cover.
But the point we're making is
stop. Would you have bought it with Jazz on the cover if that was the only option that was there?
If I really wanted to play, yes.
I have nothing against Jazz.
That's not the point we're making.
But if there was another AOE guy,
you're totally missing the point. The point we're making is more people are going to be more inclined to buy a game if they like the person on the cover. Like I am telling you, MLB might have some extra Yankees fans having bought the game or people that really enjoyed Jeter because he was on a cover. So that's why I'm saying put a guy like Judge. Younger people, I'm specifically mentioning,
whatever you got to
would say, oh, Judge, I really like this guy. I want to buy the game specifically because his face is on it. Because I will, and they'll make more money to offset that cost because more people might be inclined to buy it. That's the point I'm making. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's going to. Some people will just buy it because they want to buy it. I'm the first to admit it. I'd buy MLB The Show because I just want to play. I just like the game. It's just fun.
I don't. There's no question about it.
By the way, the Nuggets are up by 15.
Yeah,
in the first.
It's early. It's early yet. It's early yet, though.
They got exactly where they want them.
That
is that so?
That air up there. The air up there.
You know what? I'm not even arguing with Dave at this point. I'm not going to even try and I'm just going to say, okay,
hold on,
because he's been right. He's been right. I can't argue with this anymore.
Let me give you
somehow he's right.
Let me give you some Jokic stats because this is blowing my mind. He has 12 boards, 5 assists, and 8 points in the first quarter, and the first quarter is not over. 12 rebounds.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes.
And he doesn't.
Not even 10 minutes into the game. He's almost to a triple double.
Where's Glass Joe?
How is he this close to a triple-double in 10 minutes into the
because
game?
you know what?
Oh
I
my
wanted to talk about
gosh.
this. I want to take a moment to talk about this because
Where's Glass Joe?
I don't know his numbers off the top of my head. I'll look, but I'm
He has
curious to get
0
you guys'
rebounds.
opinions.
Davis has 0 rebounds, just so you know.
That's
Nice.
disappointing. It's disappointing. I want to get your guys' opinion on this because not only watching the playoffs did I think this, but I thought it in the regular season, but the playoffs kind of confirmed my thoughts. Embiid was not the MVP this year. They just didn't want to give Jokic another MVP in a row. To me, this felt like we can't give him 3 in a row, so we have to give it to somebody else, and we're going to make up for missed calls or incorrect selections previously.
Can we get Denzel in here? Can we get Denzel in here, please? Because Denzel's our resident NBA guy. Denzel, is he right that Embiid shouldn't have been the MVP? Because you know more than all of us combined.
Hold on. Let me finish let me clarify what I'm saying. It's not only that he shouldn't have been MVP this year, but Embiid should have been an MVP in a prior year, and they shouldn't have been basically saying we can't give Jokic a third this year. So it should have been, let's say, maybe 2 in a row this year, or 2 in 3 years this year.
Yeah, you're just saying
Embiid
they
have another one somewhere else.
They had a reverse.
Exactly. That's my.
It's almost like they had to do parity. Yes. I thought both were deserving. I do understand the criticism considering what happened in Game 7 with Celtics Philly, but they go by regular season and people get so caught up in and they do it in football too. They get so caught up in what happens in the postseason and they're like, oh well, this person should have won it or this person should have won it. And it's like, well, during the regular season, I mean, Embiid was that guy, but so was Jokic. Now, I'm on the fence with this one because if Jokic would have won a third straight, I wouldn't have been mad at him. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Bird won 3 straight in the 80s, so it's not like it hasn't been done before,
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I will say, even though it shouldn't be the criteria, but the masses are going to say, like, say the Nuggets win the NBA Finals, they clearly are going to say that, Jokic should have won Most Valuable Player, especially considering that this is the 4th straight season that now Jokic did win the previous 2, but this is the 4th straight season that the Most Valuable Player did not reach the conference finals. Jokic did it this year, so he could have broken that streak.
Is voter fatigue a real thing? Is voter fatigue a real thing?
I genuinely think it must be.
They did it to LeBron. They did it to LeBron as well, right? Because he should have won more MVPs.
He should have won more. Kobe should have won more. I mean, we can go through history and see point out who all got robbed. Voter fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for me is Embiid scored a lot of points and he got some good rebounds. His assists were in the trash. It was nothing special.
Right.
Jokic to me was an extremely well-rounded player, which I believe makes a better MVP.
He's a walk-in triple-double, yeah.
Not only that, but there's value in somebody that does a little bit of everything, right? He's going to get you some points. He's going to help generate offense as well, and he's also going to get you some boards, which will then stop. It's not a defensive play necessarily, but it does, in a sense, have a defensive aspect to it where it stops the other team from potentially scoring on an extra chance, right? And it also kind of turns that into offense. That's the weird thing about rebounds. To me, Jokic was better. He did more.
Jake,
yes.
Did you say some points? You realize he's averaging 30 points a game in the playoffs.
No, we're talking about regular season.
Okay, I'm just saying.
His regular season was 25. He had plenty of points. Don't get me wrong. But the other people that were up for the MVP were scoring 32, I think, 33. It's not bad. I'm just saying he wasn't as high scoring as him. That's all.
So I think the difference in JB before you go is Embiid had almost 10 points per game more than Jokic in the regular season.
He did.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Like 10, like if it was like a 3 or 4 point difference, I think you would have given it to Jokic, but almost 10 is too much of a difference.
They're both deserving. Yeah. It could have gone either way. Jokic won the last 2 before this.
Yeah.
Honestly, it means nothing. They're both MVPs. You know,
It does for their legacies, though. It really does, and it matters for
This,
where
this
you're.
just felt like a bit of a makeup call.
You could say they could have crowned co-MVPs, but when's the last time co-MVP was crowned in any sport? They don't do that anymore.
I
think that's even worse.
Was that Peyton
Manning and Steve McNair? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
That's even worse. Just pick one.
And they did. They picked Embiid.
And that's exactly why they don't do it anymore.
Let me ask you this.
I think he was definitely the MVP. I think it was a tough choice. I mean, they're both great players.
Let me ask you
I'm not going to complain if I have one rather than the other.
Do you think it factored in at all that they didn't want him to be have a three-peat of MVP? Because if he's a three-peat of MVP, it automatically catapults him as one of the greatest players of all time.
I'll tell
you
you
win
what,
three
John.
straight MVPs, it puts you in a category of one of the greatest players of all time.
I don't think the voters care.
And I don't know if they want him to be in that realm.
I think
here's my theory.
It's the same thing that happens to Shohei Ohtani, though. Hold on. It's the same thing with Shohei, right? If he wins every year, because he truly is, or I don't think really arguably, the most valuable. Not only that, but it defeats the purpose, in a sense, the voting. And I think that's the thing. They want parity, whether you agree with it or not. They don't want to just keep giving the same guy the award over and over. Now, did Judge deserve votes for MVP last year? Yeah. Do I think he was truly the most valuable player? Probably not. Yeah. Honestly, I would rather have Ohtani just because Ohtani does both. And that's so special and rare. But that's exactly the problem.
Yeah.
They were going to fall into the trap of Jokic is going to win every single year, because if he is on the pace or better than the pace the previous year, how can you not give it to him? That becomes the issue I think they run into. So I think that's a little bit of what happened, but I still maintain the argument that I believe Embiid should have won in a previous year and Jokic should have won in different. It shouldn't have been the way they.
I agree with you that
the years were off. I think this was a bit of a makeup in a way, and
I agree with you that Embiid got screwed a couple of years.
Absolutely, I'm willing to admit.
I don't know if I'm upset that Embiid won this year, though. I'm
not upset.
I think he may have been.
He said,
in my opinion,
I'm not upset. I just disagree.
I think he was the best. I think he was the best one this year. Right. Do I think them picking Jokic was a bad thing? Not picking Jokic was bad? No. Could Jokic have won? Yes. But I think also winning twice in a row, that they put more emphasis on him, winning the third time. It changes people's minds. In order to give you the third year vote, what'd you do that was better from last year?
You're right. But, you're right. That's a very good argument
as well.
That's very.
I actually had a theory. I actually had a small theory. They may have done Jokic a favor by not awarding it to him this year, and here's why. Because if he wins a third straight most valuable player, but they don't make the NBA Finals, the criticism's coming. Hey, you got all these MVPs, but when the ring's going to start coming in?
Right. That's fair.
They may have actually done him a favor by not. Yep, they sure did.
That's what they're doing.
They may have done him a favor by not awarding him it this year. It's to take less pressure off of him.
Embiid is having the same issue right now. All anybody's talking about is, where was Embiid? What happened? What was that? All people want to talk about is the fact that they lost again. He won MVP, and he did not. Jokic has been, in my opinion, the best player in the playoffs, period. And I don't think I could really have anybody argue that. He has been just taking games over. And John, you talked about tonight. It's a perfect example, right? It's unbelievable what he does. So I think he's been the MVP of the playoffs. No question. That's no debate. Embiid not showing up the way that Jokic did is going to hurt the league in a way that, they're like, well, he was the MVP, but they didn't show up in the playoffs. And it does fuel my opinion in terms of, the opinion that I have. I think other people share that and are feeling the same way. Well, look at what Jokic was doing. Clearly, he was the better player this year. I don't agree with that, but that's what's going to happen. And that's why Embiid's going to get all this flack, because they failed yet again. And it was just Doc Rivers is taking the fall, and that's fine. His record in Game 7s is an atrocity.
The worst in the history of the NBA.
It's really bad.
6-10.
But that's part of the NBA's problem. Or not. I don't know if it's the problem, but it's the way of the NBA. If you are a great coach if you're a great coach with high expectations and you under-deliver, you can be Monty Williams, you can be Budenholzer, you can be Doc Rivers. It doesn't matter. They'll fire you. They don't care. They will fire you if you under-deliver like that. That's what happened.
It wasn't like that in the 80s, 90s,
No,
and stuff.
but now it
You
is.
had leaches. Now you have no leash. You win now or you're out. Like, that's how it is.
And John, I know you're going to like them to say this.
That's now you don't win in the next couple of years, you're still out. So
that's
it's like no one is safe.
Again,
except maybe
Budenholzer won a ring, and he's still out.
But it's a private company, and if you don't do a good job, you have a contract.
Oh, shut up! That is the discretion of the teams, not the league, and there's a difference.
Yeah, the teams aren't happy with where they finish. So
I'm not gonna. I will say this much, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, and that is with Embiid. Even if Embiid had dropped 20, 21, and Harden went 35 and 10, there was no way that the Celtics were going to lose that game. Jason Tatum was a cyborg.
Listen,
he could not.
But here's the thing: it shouldn't have come to Game 7.
Hang on 1 second. When that Game 7 happened, when they hit Brown and he started bleeding, that changed the whole game. If you watch that game,
you're right.
Philly was in control.
Yeah.
They saw their teammate get bloodied. It was like a switch was flipped, and all of a sudden they started playing ball.
Yep.
Tatum went off. The rest of the team followed.
Again,
they wanted a huge run right away.
It should not.
That's
have
a great point. I want
to
ask Dave a question. How many games have you played where y'all saw? Because like football is like the ultimate camaraderie sport, right? How many games have you played where y'all saw one of your teammates get hurt wrongfully, and then everyone else on the team just got a little more violent?
There was a game where, and I forget who we were playing, and it'll come to me, but Steve Largent got blindsided, cheap shot.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and Steve got up, went back, but man, it was, that was our dude, right? Yeah. And well, but it was kind of, I'll tell you what though, the way he handled it, this was a great thing. He laid one of the biggest hits, and I don't think he'd ever hit anybody. It was the same cat that hit him. I guess it was an interception, and it was a clean block, and he decleated him. And I tell you what, man, that's what everyone just got geeked, and it was like, yeah, that was the wrong cat to hit.
Yeah.
So no, you're right. I mean, you see it happen. You see the teams rally, and
yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I bring up that example because JB's absolutely correct. It's something about seeing your brother go down. It's gonna hype y'all up. It's gonna hype you up, and like the rivalries of the East. New York and New Jersey, Philly and Boston. New York and Philly, or whoever. And just those classic rivalries, especially when you're playing a rival. Oh, it's gonna amp up times two. And Steve Largent wasn't, despite large being in his name, he wasn't a large guy.
No.
So to hear of him decleating somebody, that's saying something.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, by chance, were you guys playing, I believe, was it Denver?
Yeah, it might have been.
Because I'm trying to find it, and I'm fairly certain. I'm on my phone looking, and I'm like, oh, I think we may have...
All you gotta do is Largent retaliation hit.
More in the backfield for Roethlisberger from the 43.
This is definitely not it.
This is definitely not it.
Right by the oncoming rush. The blitz is owned by Jonathan Joseph.
I think I found it. Hold on.
I love football.
That hit is the one I was trying to find. I remember
So Jared Bunch, we had you on the show a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Jared posted greatest collegiate hits of all time. Oh my gosh. Oh my, back when people used to hit each other in football.
I think Hines Ward was the last
one
where you were able to do that as a receiver.
Oh, I found it. Oh, I definitely. This has got to be it. There is no. I'm sorry for my reaction like that. There is no chance that this is not the clip, and I'm gonna put it in our private chat.
While you're doing that, Jake, has anybody ever seen the Nate Clements on Tom Brady? We've all seen that, right? The Nate Clements on Tom Brady hit.
Yeah.
Tom Brady popped right back up. That was one of the hardest hits I've ever seen, and a guy just got right back up. Like Tom Brady just popped right back up. It was one of the hardest hits I've ever seen.
Just getting hit hard doesn't mean you get hurt.
No, but like he JB, if you've never seen that hit, look up Nate Clements with Tom
Oh
Brady.
no, I have.
He laid him out, and
Yeah,
Tom Brady
and
doesn't
you
get
guys-
No,
laid
I remember
out.
the hit.
So
Also,
you guys have all played golf, right? Or even in baseball.
tried.
When
JB
you get that pure hit, like with a baseball bat or a golf,
Mhm.
you don't even feel the ball. You know,
Of
it's
course.
it's just pure on meat, just perfect.
Yep.
That's the same thing in football. You don't even feel those.
To be
Oh,
fair,
It's just
Dave,
it's just like you just hit air, and all you
be
see are
fair,
cleats. All you
at
see are cleats
Topgolf, you're
flying,
like-
man. And it's so beautiful.
to be fair, at Topgolf, you're just burning the ball right through the net. Like you're just this giant figure, and you were just burning the ball through the whole way to the back of the net. It just burns right through because you hit it 1,000,000 miles an hour. So it's a little different with you, watching you swing.
Yeah, I can hit it.
All right. Do we have the clip up yet? Because I know I sent it. If you can guys, Jay, you can get that up for me. I
Somebody's
think.
watching it.
Oh, he knows. He saw it. And if you need me to pull it up, I will. But I figure if you can get it up, that would be easier. And Dave, I'm hoping
which
you'll
hit is
recognize
this?
it.
I'm gonna try.
This is the one Dave was talking about, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's
I've seen a
old.
lot
and
I can't wait to see it.
like the quality's kind of
Oh.
grainy, and it's
Well,
Right.
Well,
because
I mean,
it was in
But-
the 80s.
But I was saying, but I can very clearly see the hit, and I go, yeah, if that's not it, I just found a really
Because
bad
they
hit.
should
I'm
be,
impressed.
and I've seen it enough times where it's even a back to back where it'll show where Largent got hit with just a
Yeah,
bad
didn't-
hit, and then for him to come back and
I didn't pull up the one where Largent got hit. I just pulled up the one of him hitting back, but
is it?
I
Are we
was-
pulling it up?
I don't know. Do you need me to
No,
pull it
Jay,
up?
we bringing it up?
If you need me to pull it
Just-
up,
I
I was just watching it.
I was trying. Mine's one.
here, I
Hey,
got it. I got it.
JB,
Don't
can you
worry
bring it up real quick?
I got it. Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
Jake, yeah.
You're talking about technology.
I know, JB.
Yeah, you did the other one. Come on.
Yeah. No, I didn't do the other one.
Oh.
I haven't
I
done
did.
it.
Oh,
Oh, that was
oh.
Sean.
Anytime Heinz Ward crackback blocks.
All right. Okay. Can you guys see this? We're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Again, I apologize for the horrid quality. This is
All right.
just what it is.
No retaliation. Craig on 31. Plays. Intercepted by Harden. Oh, and Largent.
Oh, of course it skips through it. Ah,
It
dang
skips
it.
on the hit.
All right. Hold on. That's the
Come
problem.
on, man.
There it is.
Oh.
Out of his cleats.
All right,
There
let me
it is.
go. Let me go here. I gotta let it buffer.
Whoa.
Oh,
Was that
he
it?
pulled him out of his
Wow.
Yeah, and he dislodged, and the guy had picked it. He came and knocked
Yeah.
him, just decleared and knocked the
Smoked him.
ball out of his hands.
Nice.
That now you
Yeah,
see
he
why my
smoked him.
reaction
And
was exactly.
anybody-
Oh,
Wow.
while I was
Anybody
watching
ever
it.
played football
So-
and you've been hit when you weren't expecting it? It's like it hurts 10 times worse than
Yeah.
a normal
Mhm.
hit.
And Denzel's right. He's I don't know, 5'9", 5'10", buck
Not a big
80,
dude.
not a muscle in his body. You know, I mean, he looks like a banker. You know, he doesn't look like a, you know, he just man, he, you know, and it all boils down to his discipline, his work ethic. You know, I was there in his final 2 years, and he would lay out for a ball in practice.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a assured Hall of Famer, you know,
yeah.
the top at that point, the top receiver of all time, you know, you don't got to do those things, but he did. And that's how he practiced. And he would take these first round rookies, man, and just smoke them, you know. and he wasn't,
wow.
he wasn't fast, he wasn't strong, he wasn't anything. And he just always was there, you know.
That's what makes him, you know,
He
A
was
Hall of
fast
Famer.
enough.
but that hit alone,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
That was
hit, I
some
went,
hit.
oh my God. Like
That was.
in my head, I
Wow.
was like, ah. Like I felt pain watching that. I was like,
Yeah.
ow.
One
Yeah,
of the
that
hardest
was-
hits you'll ever see was the AB hit from Vontez Burfict.
Yes.
That's
But
one
that-
of the
that-
hardest I've ever seen.
That hit we were
That
watching,
one-
I was fully expecting the original hit to have been in my head, for whatever reason, I just thought Steve Atwater. Like when I saw Denver I thought Steve Atwater. I was just like, that's where my head went. I gotta be honest with you. Steve Atwater was not involved in that in any way, of course.
No.
But that hit looked like it was Steve Atwater wearing a Seattle jersey hitting Denver for God knows what reason. That's what that. I mean, that was the level of hit.
Oh,
watch that.
That was a hit.
Oh,
that was
brutal.
Wow.
But yeah, no.
It's a good way to end the show.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great way.
Hey, I love those hits. Like not the injuries,
doesn't?
but I love those hits.
No, but the
whenever
big
they happen.
hits are fun.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys remember watching the playoffs when the Seahawks were playing the Niners and Sherman
Yep.
hit who's a tight end in the chest with his shoulder?
Yes.
I thought it was helmet.
I
to
remember-
helmet.
Was that Vernon Davis?
Yeah, Vernon Davis.
Yes.
Down the
Yes,
sideline.
thank you. I could
When you're
picture it.
watching it live, it looked like helmet to helmet because he knocked him out. Vernon Davis was out halfway
Yeah,
down.
he was
And
out.
Vernon
cold.
Davis is a
When they
big
showed
dude.
it in slow
Yeah,
motion,
he's no slow man at all.
he hit him in the chest with his shoulder and knocked him out. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, that was amazing.
Vernon Davis is like big, like Dave. If
Oh,
you-
yes.
like,
No,
he's a big guy.
He's a
well,
big
he's not
dude.
as big as me.
Big
So-
dude.
All right.
Easy
On that
job,
note,
you
on
know.
that note,
I'm just saying he's like built. He's
Well,
built.
yeah, he's a big cat.
watch
Yeah.
yourself, John. On that note, we got to wrap up. So we're like overtime. So I'm just gonna take care of the outro. I got it. You guys can find us all on our respective socials. Just look up our names. You'll find us. Don't worry about it. And Dave, of course, I got you. Dave is just Dave. Don't you ever forget that. He's got tacos on Tuesdays, and he's just Dave. That's it. Am I right?
That's right. And hey, watch us. Look out for us on the NFL Alumni Channel. We're making that happen.
Yes,
and then
we
we're going
are.
to be launching the Seahawks channel as well
Can't
with
wait.
some special guests. So
Can't wait. So on that note, everybody have a good one. We will see you next time. And have some tacos
Peace.
tonight. Have some tacos.
Yep.
In
Be good
honor
people.
Go
of
Heat.
Dave.
big.